How's it going? Strife here, and this is the walkthrough for TA Forward Up. So this first section is the same as the forward path. We're going to run into this room, run to the other side of the room with the Guardian clearing here, and then we're going to have to kill the 6 archers. As far as the forward up path is concerned, it's probably the hardest path in this dungeon. There is a boss that's a little bit more difficult. There's an event that can give some people trouble. And then the Nightmare Tree version in this path is actually the hardest version of the 3 paths. As far as this room goes though, you can see just DPSing them down, axe makes axe warrior. I am in full berserker armor now. And then there, don't do what I did and get rooted in a poison cloud, because obviously you will take a ton of damage. So we're just going to finish up these last 2 archers here. You see I try to constantly swap on my axe offhand to build adrenaline and might stacks. And usually I try to save it for after an eviscerate as well, so you instantly get that 15 stacks of adrenaline. Alright, so here we're going to pick the forward up path. The first section immediately going into here is going to be a running sequence, so you want your Guardian to obviously equip staff. This run, it's not too bad overall. What we're going to end up doing here in a second, you'll see it, but we're going to stick to the left hand side of this path. You can bypass some of the mobs. These are the slower mobs, so they're the husks. They're not the nightmares like the knights or the archers, which sometimes can hurt quite a bit more. So here we'll just stick on the left side. Make sure you dodge roll or have stun breakers or stabilities for the husk slam move. And then once we get up to this bridge that is broken right now, all those mobs will actually leash, and all we'll have to fight is the boss and the 2 adds that come with him. So here we're going to focus pull him down and just burn him down in this corner right here. As far as the boss goes, he only has 2 attacks. One attack is he's going to put a swarm of bees onto one party member. When that happens, you just want to dodge roll to remove them from yourselves, or they will continually do damage. The second move, you can see I dodged it once already. He just lifts in the air and does the slam move, kind of like all the other husks, which will knock you down. The damage isn't too bad though. And here we're just going to burn him down. The reason we waited a bit for time warp was it was still on cooldown from the first nightmare vine. So here you can see I have the swarm on me right now. So I'm just going to dodge roll here and it'll be removed. So for this next section, this event, it can give new people trouble sometimes just because they're not aware of how to do it. So what I'm doing here is I'm equipping Great Sword and a shield. The reason I'm doing that is the mechanic of this event is you're going to come over to this fountain and stealth. You want to stealth before these swarms get to you. Then the whole idea is to run up this path without hitting the water fountains. If you hit the water fountains, your stealth gets removed, the bees become aggro, and if they touch you, you instantly get downed. So here I can actually dodge through as well. The reason I had the Great Sword and the shield was just in case I did get my stealth removed. You want to double dodge, use like your shield invulnerability and your whirlwind on your Great Sword. So you have evade frames and invulnerable frames, so you don't get touched by those death swarms. So anyone who is running through that section, just use that as backup on whatever character you have. And always double dodge first right when you get out of that stealth from the fountain or from the water spouts, if that does happen. So here again, just the little dogs. Once you get up to where the dogs spawn, the fountain behind you, they also despawn, as well as those bees. So if you do have someone dead back there, or someone that isn't as good as making it through, you can use that to get them through as well. So really you only need like 1 or 2 people maybe to make it through to set the fountains and the bees off for the rest of the group. So up here we are at the Mesmer type boss of this path. This is the one that I was mentioning was harder. Overall, it's pretty easy if you use your dodges, but you do need to watch out for a few things. So the first thing you want to do is there's two husks accompanying this boss. You want to burn them down very quickly. They become aggro before the boss does, so you can actually pull them and burn them down. Once the boss becomes aggro, the NPC right here is actually going to hold aggro for a bit until he dies. So if you do have like an Ellie or someone with a bunch of heals, you can try and keep him up for as long as possible. Once he eventually dies, the boss is going to target you instead of the NPC. So here you can see like a Mesmer has Chaos Storm. It does quite a bit of damage and causes conditions, so you do not want to stand in it. You want to instantly dodge out of it when that occurs. This is also one of the fights where I am using a ranged weapon because of that. Then the only other major attack besides normal auto attacks is she's going to put Chaos Shield on her as well, which is that purple shield looking thing. When you attack her, that's just going to put conditions on you as well. So there I got some confusion from it. As long as you have condition removal, it shouldn't be a big deal. And then as you can see, she also stealths and kind of teleports around the room. So overall though, as long as you stay out of that chaos field and remove your confusion, this boss is really not too bad overall. And just pick up your chest. So after that boss, we are at that area where the two paths merged from forward and forward up. We're just going to jump down and we will be at the final room before the Nightmare Tree. Luckily on this path we don't need to fight Laurent, so just like the up path, we'll just have the champion and silver warder up by this door. So again, just focus, pull them to the door and burn them down right here. We got spread out a little bit here, but you want to focus on that silver mob and just burn him down first, and then we can focus on the champion. As you can see, the champion, he has a just auto attack with the sword, which is a little bit painful, not too bad overall. It causes weakness, and then sometimes he will put conditions on you as well. And then the reason I'm not swapping is because I actually forgot to put my axe offhand back on, which I'm going to do now. So this version of the Nightmare Tree, as I mentioned, he is the hardest of all three paths, because if you want to melee him, you're going to have a lot of reflection. So as long as you have that, it's really nothing different than the other paths, just a different mechanic. So you can see there's some spider hatchlings in front of him we're just going to clear. It's kind of a precursor to what his mechanic is. Every time he shakes, he's going to spawn spiders that drop from the ceiling. Most of their damage is the poison bolts, meaning if you have the feedback, the wall of reflection, and the spirit shield, like in our group, you are going to prevent most of the damage from him. So here is his first shake, and you'll see some spiders will fall and start shooting us. So besides that, you can just stand in here and melee. If you're at ranged, I believe you have to dodge. He does like an AoE at you that does damage as well. I haven't noticed it in melee range yet, so it might just be a ranged attack. And then you're just going to stand in that wall of reflection, which will reflect everything as well, and then the spirit shield. So overall, pretty easy to burn him down. And that is it for the TA forward up path. Thanks for watching.